Hey everybody, welcome back to a new season of the FSIDFS Pick Show. I'm your host, MegaRuler31. We're going to be talking about the Daytona duels tonight. So it's cool to have NASCAR back and very pumped and very excited. It's been since November, so hopefully got the lighting, got the mic, the sound and everything correct. If not, leave in the comments below and I will try to adjust for the next videos. We'll be trying to bang out videos all week long. If you watched in the past, TK Nation and I used to do these videos together. TK is going to step back a little bit this season. He's got some good things going on in his personal life that he wants to focus on, but I think he's going to come and at least do the Cup preview with me, and it's going to open up opportunity for some other friends of mine to potentially join me for some of these shows. So I'm not here talking to myself for the whole time, but we had a great season last year. Appreciate all you watching, all your comments, all your feedback. I think we did a really good job, and we're looking to provide more this year. So if you're interested in FSIDFS, we're actually going to have it free for Daytona week. So if you look at the left-hand corner of the screen, if you go to FSIDFS.com and sign up for a package, you can go into the place where you purchase subscriptions, and NASCAR is going to be free for the week if you use the code NAS freebie there. Actually, it's NASFeb free. So, and it expires on Monday. So I want to pop that in there. And after that, super cheap, $10 a week, $75 a month, cover all races, truck, Xfinity, and Cup. Get my sheets, get my cores, personal help, all that stuff. So we're here to help you enjoy the racing and love to make you a millionaire, but we just want to help you make good educated decisions when it comes to DFS, and maybe we'll get into a little bit of sports betting this year too, and help you continue to build your bankroll and be able to enjoy it for a whole season and make some profit and not get frustrated after a couple weeks and walk away from it. We're in here for the long game. So a couple ground rules here. NASCAR DFS doesn't really start, in my opinion, until next week at Auto Club, because this is such a volatile track. We see some crazy things happen with big wrecks and just pack racing and things like that. So if you're playing anything this week, just please play a little bit just to have a little bit of fun and enjoy and dip your feet back in the pools. Don't throw a ton of your bankroll in there, because I mean, you might hit it big, and I hope you do, but there's a really good chance that just because the range of outcomes in NASCAR is so crazy, and even in these races even crazier starting next week when we get to like Auto Club in Vegas and like some of those other tracks, will be able to be a little bit more predictable. Second year with a new car, so I think that's going to help also with some data, because last year we were coming back from COVID. We were starting to add some like practices and qualifying back in, and had a new car to deal with. We had tire issues and all those things. So with that being said, I think we learned a lot. So in these duels, you've got two races. I believe they're like 60 laps long, so they're not super long. And there's how they're lined up is based on how they qualified last night. All the guys with even numbers go, or odd numbers go into the duel 1. All the guys that ended up with even numbers go into duel 2. So you have two red names on the screen here, and that's Zane Smith and Chandler Smith. Those two are not locked in on time and have to fight their way in. And then you'll have two others in the next race that's coming up in duel 2 that'll also be fighting for their way in. That's Austin Hill and Connor Daly. So two of those 4 guys should make it in, because it's 40 cars in the field, and we'll see what happens with that. So the weird thing about this is how people approach this race, because yes, it is for position, but you look up top and you have like Alex Bowman, who has the pole. He's locked in, doesn't want to mess up his car. He wants to go out there, kick the tires. Could he potentially go for the win? Sure. But if you look at the data I have here in columns AP, AQ, and AR, instead of like looking at like Daytona and like a whole bunch of Talladega numbers, that's what the track average is. I just have that as one variable here. But what I really wanted to look at is like, how do they perform in these duels? Like, did they try to win it? What's their, and this isn't finishing position. This is their average running position. So where, were they pretty much running the course of the race? Did they like to get up front? And like, how did they do? And it looks like with Bowman that pretty much he's been up on the front row, locked in last couple of years. I think it was like the last 5 years or something like that. So he doesn't look like he's going to win this race. So he's going to probably lose you place differential points. And if you're new to NASCAR DFS, you not only get points for finishing position, but you get points for place differential. So most of these plate races, people are just stacking the back. So they'll take, they think they're the smartest guy or girl in the room, and they'll take like the last 6 drivers. So here you'd take like, 16 through 21st, and because they have a lot of place differential. Now, the weird thing about this race is DK does not change the scoring system. So if you look at the bonuses here, so here's the points for finishing position. So there are 21 cars in race. The 21st car or dead last car has a floor of 21, where with a 40 lap race or with a 40 car race, a full field, the 40th place gets 1 point. So there's 20 more finishing points for whoever finishes dead last. So Bowman, if he finishes dead last, he's still going to end up with 21 points, which is going to negate it with the place differential. So his floor is 1. But Chandler Smith can only go up, and he's got a floor of 21. So I can see in this, like, stacking the back is going to be even more valuable. And I'm going to look for cars at the back as I build my lines. But I think I want to also try to find the winner here too. So I'm just going to run through the field of this one, and then we'll go over to the second duel, and then I will get this posted, and you can always leave comments and questions below, and I'll keep on referring to it as, we build our lines right before lock tonight, and try to get back to you with any of your questions. You can also always hit me up at Twitter at MegRuler31. Okay, so Bowman has the pole, fast car. I don't think he goes for it tonight. He could, and anything's possible, but I think, he's a fade for me. Same with Byron. I think Byron, looking at it, like he 3.9, 6.8. So it looks like he does go for it, but I still just don't like his ceiling is really low, like starting in the second position with like place differential. And could he, again, like fast laps here, and you only have 60. So it's not like a short track where like all those like laps add up for points for like fast laps and laps led. It's really just a drop in the bucket here. It really is not that many points. So if Byron goes out there and leads every single lap and wins the race, he really doesn't score that much on DK. So, I mean, he has a great race and everything, but it really, in DFS, it really doesn't help you. Now, I think what's going to happen is just the way we've seen these cars. And people will probably disagree with me here, but I think Logano or Blaney would definitely be cash plays, because I think these Fords are fast when you get to the actual race, not for qualifying. They hook up, they work together well, and I could see one of the two of them going out and leading and winning this race. So I think it's very dangerous to play both of them in the same lineup. I will probably have one of them in my cash lineup, but I definitely will not play both of them in my cash lineup. Harrison Burton, I had to change. His track average is horrible. It's like 26 something, because 100% DNF rate, because like he's wrecked both times at Daytona, and he was the first one to figure out how to flip these unflippable new cars last year in the 500, I believe. That was him. So, but I just felt that it wasn't giving him enough points. Like, he looked decent in qualification. He looks pretty fast here. If he works with the other four, he's fine. And here's another thing too, is like, don't worry about pricing here. If you leave money on the table and you like your lineup, you're fine. Even if it's $10 or $20,000 at these plate races, that's the way to do it. So don't worry about trying to spend every single penny or upgrading because you have cash left. Put the best 6 drivers you feel the best will score DPA points for you in the lineup and set it and walk away. Don't worry about trying to tinker with it to get another driver in that is higher. So I like one of these guys, but then not necessarily you don't have to play them because, again, you have more like place differential from guys in the back. And Logano and Blaney. Burton, the same thing. I just don't think he's got the win upside, and just because he has made mistakes. Then you have Bubba in here. And as I look at the Toyotas, he has Gibbs to work with, who's inexperienced with these cars and a rookie, and came up and did okay, but not great. And then you have Bell, who I think is decent also, but there's only 3 Toyotas to work with here. There's a lot of Chevys. There's a lot of Fords. Can they work with one of the other manufacturers? Potentially. But the thing is with the aerodynamics of these cars, and again, they might have changed. It's a new year, new body types, and these cars are supposed to be all similar. Maybe they do work. Again, sorry, I'll see how it works more in the race. People have said stuff from testing and things like that, but I'm not going to go by that now. I want to go by the eye test. I want to watch these races tonight and see if different manufacturers can work together, or if they have to, or like, who's the fastest, and that will really help us for the 500. But with only 3 Toyotas here, I just think they're kind of at a disadvantage in this one. So I don't really like Bubba. He's a GPP here. I know he's a decent plate track racer. Chris Buescher has won one of these things before last year. He's a Chevy. I think that, he's okay. Did decent in qualifying. So I think he's a GPP also. Ross Chastain, again, his car has been fast, but I think that the first 2 years, like last year, he did better, but he's been around like 10th position. I think he kind of finished where he starts, like anywhere from 8th to 10th. I don't really see him progressing. He is a risky driver, and I could see him trying to block somebody or battling for a win and then just wrecking. So it's not the price tag. It's just the starting position, the aggressiveness. And I just don't like him in cash. Harvick, I think, has done really well here. He has gone for the wins here. He's run really, really well, 6th in my model. So I definitely think he's a cash play here. And he might be the some of you that if you feel that Logano or Blaney are too risky, then I would start with Harvick, in the lineup. Gibbs and Bell, same thing with Bubba. I think if you want to put all 3 of them in the lineup, that's the way you have to do it, because that's what's going to happen, is the 3 of them are going to do well and hopefully not wreck each other and work together. And if that pays off, and then figure out, like, take some of these prime guys or back guys. So stack the 3 Toyotas if you're going to play them. I don't think you can play them as singles here. Jimmy Johnson, my favorite driver. And he's lost a step. I don't know. I think he's a GPP, potentially fade here, like 12th. He's locked in on speed, so it doesn't really matter. And again, like, starting position doesn't matter at this 500. It's a long race. Things will jumble up. Leads will change. Lines will move back and forth. It's just protecting your car and surviving until the end of the race and then making you move forward. And I don't know if Legacy Motor Club has another backup car for him here. So I think he might take it safe, like try to feel the car out, try to, get back into the groove after driving Indy cars, get a feel for this new car on, with some drafting and stuff like that. Could he get up there and win? Yes. But I think, and, will he work with probably Bowman and Byron? Yes. But remember, those guys are probably not trying to win it. So I see a more conservative approach from him. So GPP for me. Michael McDowell has won a 500. He's always done well in these races. His track average is 9, one of the best ones outside the 2 Fords with Logano and Blaney. He's done well in this race before if somebody didn't take him out. So I definitely think he's a cash play there. Eric Jones, like him too. He's done well. I think he won a duel back in 2020. Don't quote me on that, but I've just seen him very fast, and I think, you know, this whole Legacy Motor Club thing with Jimmy Johnson and all that they've invested in them, and I believe that they have RCR engines in them also. So I think that, you know, he's definitely a cash play here and could do well. Zane Smith, I really like as a driver. Front row is a decent program. So not much data on him here, but I still think he's going to be a prime play because he's got to do something. Although I'm not sure if Chandler Smith's car is actually going to be able to run with the mechanical issues that they seem to be having with it. But Zane Smith, I think, is a very talented driver. I can't believe he's not up in the Cup Series yet, but, you know, he's won a championship in the Truck Series, and I really like him, and I think that, you know, he's going to do well here. AJ Allmendinger, same thing. He's a veteran. He's run well on plate tracks. Not much data here how he's going to go for it, but I think he's definitely going to work with like the Chevys and do well. And I think it's going to definitely some place differential. My model actually has him finishing like second, looking at all of his data from like Cup and track history, and it's all Cup stuff. I didn't pull any Xfinity stuff. I think that he's definitely going to do well here in this race. And Austin Dillon's probably my favorite play here, starting this far back in this Childress car. He's much faster than this. You definitely could win the duel. And I think, you know, he's just the absolute lock for me here. So these three guys are the core guys that I'm going with, but if you want other things, that's fine. Stenhouse also, I think, with the place differential, he'll work with the Fords, also Zane Smith, Harvick. And, you know, if you want to stack all four Fords in a lineup, I don't know if that works with pricing. I haven't tried it as a DK lineup. But, you know, if it does work, I don't know if I'd play all of them. I think I'd go like Stenhouse, Smith, Harvick, and then McDowell, and then I'd pick Blainer Burton and then throw in like a one-off that you think is going to get good place differential there also. That's how I play that. Cody Ware, not super interested in if he didn't run the 2020 duels, but almost finished like dead last in most of them. He should be in because he has a charter, and on those points, Rick Ware cars always hang out towards the back, so they don't really care. I don't think they have like the resources to really repair these cars and to you know, should he wreck it? So I think he wants to stay out of trouble. Could he luck box something? Absolutely. You know, could he get a top 5 finish? Yes. If you want to put a buck on it, if you're betting, sure, why not? Ty Dillon, same thing. Spire, it's a smaller program. I don't think they have like backup cars, or they really can risk like an accident here. So I think that another conservative driver, but again, they have a high floor because they're starting with 22 and 23 DK points right off the bat. I don't really see them getting any more than that. I think, you know, either one could finish last, so, you know, they might lose. I think that's why Cody Ware's projection is 22, because I think my model thinks it's going to finish dead last and lose like 2 place differential points with the floor at 21. Chandler Smith, I think you can play him in cash because, again, he's got a tremendous floor. He's really cheap, but then again, like pricing doesn't matter here. He's a really good driver from the Truck Series. I always equate him to like Kyle Busch, where he's like boomer bust. Like he'd have a great race or he'd wreck right away. So he's kind of volatile, kind of like Stenhouse, kind of like Chastain. It's kind of in that like same mold. But again, the floor is here. I just don't know, like mechanically, did they figure everything out? But he's got a lot of incentive, because if he doesn't do well here, he's not going to make it into the 500. He's got to, again, I forget how it works. I don't know if he needs to, if within this race, like one of the two needs to do well. I think that's how it works out. So I don't think like the other race matters, but it potentially could. So you know, put it down in the chat if you know, or I'll look it up and I'll put it down. But he definitely has a lot of incentive to go. So I don't think it's something like if Zane Smith wrecks here right away and finishes last and Chandler's locked in. But then again, maybe at that point, if he knows he's locked in, he'll just protect the car, just kind of get a feel for it, because he hasn't driven a ton of Cup cars, and we'll see what happens. So that's the breakdown of the first one. So let me just go here and change my screen to the second duel, and we'll go over that one. Okay. Kyle Larson has the pole here. I think he's a fade because, again, I think he's locked into that position, and it doesn't really matter. But then again, it's Kyle Larson, and he could very well try for the win here because the guy just doesn't know how to quit. He pushes it, but he pushes it a lot too, and he blew a lot of tires last year. Almirola has won a couple of these, didn't do well last year in it, got into a wreck, but that was getting used to the new car. So he's always a threat to win. So it's a GPP here. But again, I don't like the upside with where they're starting. Briscoe, same thing, pretty fast in qualifying and stuff, but I think he's going to go down. Cindric, same thing. Again, if he finishes first, he's got a really good track average here, and he's done okay in the duels, and he won a 500. So there's a lot positive going, but I don't really like the upside. Kyle Busch, same thing. I think he'll work with the other Chevys here with like the Hendrick cars and Trackhouse, and I think that he'll definitely go for the win, but he's just had such bad luck. I think this is a different team. I really was impressed. If you watch the clash, how he got shot to the back and he fought his way back up to the front to finish second or third. I think pretty sure he was second. So there's a lot of fight in him. I really like this car, so I potentially could be a winner here. Suarez, again, I think he started a little bit too far forward. I think he's okay. He was more GPP. Chase Elliott is where I'm going to put the prime play here, because Chase Elliott has always done well in these races, always done well at Daytona, is a really good plate racer. I think he finishes first, 6th place differential points there. I think he's going to be the highest scoring guy on the slate, according to my projections here. Ryan Preece, Stuart Haas car. Again, there's some decent Fords in here, but not the same Fords that I would like. I mean, Almirola and Briscoe, he's got some really good teammates here to work with. So we'll see what happens. And I'm sure Keselowski will get in there also. But he didn't run it last year. He's kind of making his return up here. So I'm not super excited about him. I think he's a GPP. Keselowski, it's the same thing. Like, he's been really, really good at these races. But overall, the car's been slow and he's just found trouble. So it's 50-50. It could go either way here. So I have him as GPP. Reddick, you have 4 Toyotas here, and I think you've got some really strong ones with Truex and Hamlin. So again, I think this is a really nice group. Now, this is a little bit different. I think I'll talk about them all here. I think Pastrana is the odd man out here, because I don't know if 2311 Racing has probably has one backup car for all of them. So if for some reason Bubba crashes in the first one, I think, they're going to have Pastrana just like really kind of take it easy, because they aren't going to have a backup car if he wrecks. He did make it in on time, so he's safe there. And I think it's the same thing as Jimmy Johnson. He's run Xfinity before, or he's done a whole bunch of other different types of racing and been very successful with it. So, he understands racing, but he needs to get a feel for the car and how to draft here. And I think he's got a great group of Toyotas to work with, but I don't necessarily know if, how good he's going to be at it and how assertive he's going to be at it. So he's kind of a wild card here. But Reddick, same thing. I really like Truex. I really like Hamlin. I think Hamlin could win the race if Elliott doesn't. So I think those are super strong plays. So definitely like the Toyotas in this one better than and I don't think you have to play them as a stack. I definitely think there's value in stacking Hamlin and Truex together and maybe throwing in Reddick and Pastrana, but I don't think you have to play all 4 of them. But I definitely like them. I like Hamlin and Truex as individuals, and I also like Toyota as a stack. Grayson here, Legacy Motor Club, which used to be the Petty one, taking over this car coming up. I had a really good career in but last year with Beard Motorsports, the last couple, like it was different cars, getting used to it and stuff. Didn't really do well in the duels. So, but I think he could do well here working with the other Chevys, especially like because the Hendrick ones. So I think he's definitely a cash play. Justin Haley, I really like him. I went to go get gas today and the total came out 31-31, and I'm, Mega Roller 31. So is it saying like this is the day to play Haley? So I'll probably put him in at least one lineup. I think he's a cash play. I think he can definitely advance. Cullig has been decent on plate tracks. Austin Hill, I think he's my favorite play here. He is definitely a prime play for me. He's in the Beard car that Grayson was in, but Austin Hill has done really well in the Truck Series and in Xfinity at plate tracks. So no concern here. I think that he definitely, has had some experience in these cars. If he ran some cup races last year, he understands drafting, like the Chevys. So I think he's definitely going to be a prime play. And he needs to have a good finish to get up, although Connor Daly, like the money team car, has had so many tech issues that I don't even know if it's going to be able to. So potentially he might just need to beat the 2 in the other race. And it's kind of an advantage being in this race because you know what you have to do. So again, it could go either way. He could be fighting for his life, or he could already be in by time the second race starts, especially if something happens with Connor Daly. But I think Austin Hill is a competitor, and I think he's going to go out there and want to do really well. Again, it's the whole probably only has one car thing, so he's got to be careful. But I feel good at prime play. Todd Gillian has been decent value play. He was like always like the favorite punt for DFS like last couple of years. Because he's like cheap and he's not a bad driver. He's like really good in the Truck Series, and this isn't a bad program. It just has been a little bit slow to launch. Hasn't had great success at Daytona, but I think he's like a cash play with starting position. BJ McLeod is probably going to finish last, so I don't think there's a ton of like, even though he's starting 18th here and you're going to get 21, 22, 23, 24, like a floor of 24. I think if he loses 3 positions, his floor is probably like 21. I just really don't see much, but I mean, he could be in the winning lineup. You never know. It's crazier things have happened. But Riley Herbst, I really like him here. I know it's a Rick Ware car, and I know they like to stay towards the back, but I think that he definitely can move up. Corey LaJoie, same thing. He's like one of those, our favorite, like scrub. I wouldn't even call him a scrub. But like when you're playing stars and like scrub lineup for NASCAR, like he's one that like really punches above his weight class. Like he's been up there like in top 10s and things like that. So he has the ability. I think he understands drafting. Looks like his average running position is like in the 13s here. So, I mean, there is some like 7 place differential points there. Plus, he already has a decent floor if it doesn't work out. So, I like LaJoie here, and Connor Daly. I have him as a cash play because, again, like he's starting last. It might be a GPP, but just keep in mind, like, follow Twitter, or I'll throw like any things here. If I see that there's gonna be tech issues and that Daly's a fade and that he's just gonna go out there and try it and not be good, then he's got, actually I'm gonna change it right here live. I'm gonna make this a GPP. I know he's got the floor, but I'm just thinking about it. Like he's only run a couple Truck Series race, I think 1 Xfinity race. Like he doesn't have much experience. The car had like a bunch of mechanical issues. It just doesn't look like there's a lot of upside here. So I'm gonna make it a GPP. Okay, so let's talk betting quickly. Looking through this one, if you're placing some bets for some winners or some top 5s here, my favorite ones in this race are, I think Elliott or Hamlin are going to win this. And I think if you want some long shots for like top 5, Noah Gragson, Austin Hill, probably, and Kyle Busch, I think could potentially win this race also. So those would be if I'm betting on winners. Like the order would be Elliott, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and then Eric Almirola if you need a fourth one there. And I think like some long shot top 5s would probably be Austin Hill or Noah Gragson. So let's go back to the first one again. Let's see who I like here. For winning here, Logano or Blaney definitely would be the ones that I think definitely have a shot here. If you want a long shot, Kevin Harvick, and then some like top 5s here, Austin Dillon, Zane. I don't think he'll get up in the top 5. Allmendinger could definitely. Michael McDowell. So that's who I'd go for there. So again, I'm Mega Ruler 31. Thanks for watching the video. It's great to be back. I'll do one for trucks tomorrow, and then we'll have one for Xfinity, and then hopefully I'll hook up with TK and we could do a cup one for the 500. And then, there's the information there. Sign up for FSIDFS. You get a free week and get to see like our coverage of like what our cores are, and the hope we'll get you in chat and all that stuff too. So I just appreciate you watching. Please share this with your friends. Give us a like, helps us get out there. We're so close to having 4,000 subscribers to FSIDFS, and through this and through my baseball coverage with McKinley this year, hoping to drive it up to the 5,000 mark. That's going to be the goal. So please, if we've helped you out over the last couple of seasons in any way, the best way to reward us is just to like and to share with people and to get more people to watch us so we can just continue to drive up viewership. But I just thank you so much for a couple of years ago, we were starting to just try to get like 1,000, and just you loyal viewers have just been very, very good to us. So appreciate it. We'll keep on making the content if you keep on watching. So good luck in your contest. Remember, keep it light. Don't use all your payroll. You don't have to. And if you have any other questions, hit me up at MegaRuler31 on Twitter, or you can leave the questions in the chat below. We can't approve all your lineups, so please don't post full lineups down there. That's against the DK rules, but we can try to help you go in the right direction. So good luck in your contest, MegaRuler31. I'll see you next time.